All right, folks, thank you for joining us. My name is Jason. I'm from Great Heron Leather, and today we're going to be building one of our wallets. Just going to show you kind of a step-by-step in how we make our Great Heron wallet that looks something like this. This is one of our classic ones with the darker brown and the natural, kind of a two-color mixed here. It's got a front quick access pocket here. It's got one on the back, and then it has a bigger pocket there in the center. And this is again one of our top selling wallets, and we're going to make one here today and just kind of show you how we do it. This wallet we're going to make today is going to have the same dark brown. It's called Tobacco Pueblo leather, and you could get whatever leather you want to make your wallet. This is an Italian full grain vegetable tan leather. It's about 4 ounces, and if you're making a wallet, I would say you're going to want to limit it to anywhere from 3 to 4 ounces per layer of your wallet. And we'll have 4 layers here as we build this. And these are the tools I'm going to need and use as I go through this. You don't need to have these tools exactly. You can have your own. You can have different modifications and so forth. But this is what I'm going to use. We've got a hammer back here, or a maul, I should say. We'll get to our lighter a little bit later on. We have a square ruler. I have a cutting ruler that helps guide my rotary knife. Got a rotary knife here. Got some clamps here that I'll use, and you don't need to have these. You can use a hammer or something like that to squeeze down or press down the edges. We have some Tokonol and a piece of canvas to help with the edges. I got some sandpaper, got an edge beveler. I got a scratch-all, 2 corner rounders from Tandy Craft Tool. I have another burnisher here that I'll use for the edges. I have my wing divider. The pricking irons I'm going to use are from Rocky Mountain Leather, 3.85 millimeter. Got a pair of scissors here. These are just Fiskars. And the thread I'm going to use is this brown from Vinimo. This is a size number 5 thread. And we'll be able to put this wallet together. Again, you can use whatever tools get you the same results, and I'll talk about that as I go throughout. You can use whatever leather you want to use. This is just what I'm using for this particular demonstration. I already have everything kind of cut out, but I'll show you the measurements in just a second. I'm going to move some of these tools off to the side so that our workspace could be a little less cluttered. And just kind of for a minute zero in on the leather I'm going to use. And as I said, this is a full grain vegetable tanned Italian leather. This is from Bottolasse Carlo. It's called Pueblo leather. As you can see, I have 2 pieces here. They're different sizes. And let me give you the measurements so you can cut yours out. So if I bring this ruler over here, I can tell you that the first piece is going to need to be 6 inches long by 4 inches tall. Okay, so 6 by 4. This will be the inner pocket. And then if I bring this piece of leather over, it's going to be 6 1/4 inches long by 3 1/4 inches tall. So 6 1/4 by 3 1/4. And this will be the outer piece that we will use. Now, as we go throughout, I'm going to do my best to kind of just explain the tools I use and how I use them and why I use them. And you can follow along, build your own wallet with us. Hit pause when you want to and when you need to. Let's get started with this first big piece. This, again, is going to be the inside pocket, and you can craft yours with whatever type of corners you want. I'll just show you what I do with mine. So the first thing I'm going to do is round off the corners. I'm going to use this larger craft tool corner punch. This is 3780-02. I'm a fan of these corner punches from Tandy. And I'll put a link to them in the description. I'm going to round off the 2 top corners with that particular size. I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I'm going to use this corner rounder, 3780-800. It's a smaller corner, and I'm going to punch that. So our corners are punched on this inner pocket here. And since the wallet is easier to do step by step rather than putting it all together and then starting to do some things, I'm going to take care of some of the edges on this wallet, especially up here at the top now, so that I don't have to try to figure it out once the wallet is together. So I'm going to use this Palo Santo size 0, and you can use whatever beveler you want, whatever size you want that gets you the corners that you want. I'm just going to take care of rounding off the edge here. And this just gives you a nice, cleaner looking edge, not as harsh. I'm going to flip it over, do the other side. You can see I'm just getting a little bit of a curl from that harsh edge. And then I'm going to take a little bit of sandpaper. I've got several layers of it. I'm going to first start off with at least just this edge. This is a size 800 grit, and I'm just going to go back and forth over this a few times. I attach mine to little blocks of wood, makes it easier for me to hold on to. And then I'm going to go to a 3000 grit. Just get that sanded up a little bit to try to get the best edge we can on there. And just one more time, I'm going to grab my edge beveler just to make sure I didn't curl anything up. Just a slight little edge there that I got from sanding it, so I'm going to just take that off. I'm going to do both sides. I'm going to treat this edge. I'm going to use some Tokonole. This is a leather finish. You can use gum tragacanth. You can even use water. Put a little on my finger and just rub it on the edge here. Just kind of rub it in. In this first round, I'm going to use a burnishing stick here and just go back and forward. Not going to apply a lot of pressure. Just going to let the heat do its job in burnishing this edge. All right, so you can kind of see already we have a bit of a different looking edge. It's a little bit of a glossier edge than the non-address side, and we'll get to that later on in the wallet. And then we're going to do it one more time. A little Tokonole. Just rub it along the edge. This time though, I'm going to use a piece of canvas. Do the same thing, rub it back and forth. Not putting a lot of pressure, just using the heat of the canvas on the leather to bind those fibers together. And we can see we got a good looking edge there. Excellent. I set that aside. I'm going to bring some glue over. And I use a water-based glue called EverTac. I'll put a link below in the description for this. I get mine from Springfield Leather. Now I'm just going to put some glue around the bottom half of the inner pocket here. I'm not going to go all the way to the top because I'm going to have that open up a little bit. So I got a line of glue there that we'll address in just a minute, but for now I'm going to let it get tacky. While it's doing that, I'm going to bring over my second piece. This is going to be the outer pocket. I'm going to dress this. Now, I'm going to round the bottom corners off as I did with the inner pocket. So I'm going to use my size 378000 corner rounder from Tandy. There we go. Now, the way I do my angles here is the way I do it. You can choose to do any angle you want to get the look you want to, but this is how I do mine. I get my ruler here, my L-square ruler, and I mark 1.5 inches in and 1 inch down. And I'm going to do the same on this side, 1.5 inches in and 1 inch down, just like that. I just use my scratch awl, and I'm going to grab my ruler here. I love this ruler. It allows me to measure some things sometimes, but mainly I use it for cutting straight lines. It's got a nice protective slot here for your fingers so you don't cut your fingers. Has a nice firm bottom, but it also has this foam that can grip the leather, which is nice. I just line up those dots that I marked, and I cut them off. Just like that. And again, you can do your own if you want to round them, if you want to do a different angle. It's up to you, but that's how I do mine. And as I did with the pocket, inner pocket, I'm going to take care of this outer pocket edges up here while it's off the wallet, because it's a little hard to do when the wallet is together. So I'm just going to use my edge beveler, go around both sides. Take my sandpaper. Again, for this, I'm just going to start with an 800 grit. Move to a 3000 grit. I'm not pressing very hard, I'm just doing it lightly. Okay. One more time with the edge beveler. Okay, I'm going to bring some token all over again, like we did before, and do the same steps that we did on the inner pocket. Just going to rub some tokonol along the edge with my finger. Grab my burnishing stick. Just go back and forth. I'm not applying a lot of pressure, just allowing the friction to take care of it and do its job. I'm going to do it one more time. It's a light coat. I'm going to grab my piece of canvas. Do the same thing. Now that outer pocket is taken care of, I'm going to put some glue on the inner pocket here, just around the edges. Again, I'm using a water-based glue. You can use contact cement or other things that you might feel comfortable with. We're going to let that get tacky. Okay, I'm going to bring over this inner pocket here. I'm going to fold it over and match up the edges as best I can. The better you do at matching it up now, the less sanding or trimming you have to do later. That looks pretty good. I'm going to use a smooth-faced hammer to just press down this crease here. You can use your hand if you want to. Some people call this a finishing hammer. I'm going to use my crimp here and just go along the edges. Again, you can use your finishing hammer for this if you want. I just like the pressure it puts by using one of these. And I'll put a link to this in the description below. This is still getting tacky up here, and for now I'm going to start putting some glue on the inside pocket here on the outside of it so that we can attach the outside pocket. The best way to do this, you can measure it if you want to. I just kind of do a little eyeball test here and put a little mark as to where I'm going to start. There we go. This is pretty tacky already. So I'm going to put these two pieces together. And again, the more concentration you put onto evening these up now, the easier it is to trim and sand later. So just take some care to pair these well. Okay, so you can kind of see the inner pockets here, and we've got our first layer of the outer pocket attached to it. The edges are looking pretty good. So I'm going to turn it over. I need to put some glue on this side. Before I do that, I'm going to use my crimps again and just crimp these together, just to get some good pressure there so that those layers of leather are binding together. Get some glue, and you can easily match up the other side with where you want to put your glue. All right, we'll let that get a little bit tacky for a minute. Again, all of these tools will be listed in the description that's below. You can check those out. I'm going to bring over some other tools that we're going to use here in just a minute. So now let's fold this guy over, this flap. And again, you want to take care to just match things up well. You can pinch it together with your fingers. Use a hammer, or if you have some of these. And just like that, you have yourself a wallet, okay? You got your front quick access pocket here, you got your main pocket here, then on the back side you have your other quick access pocket. Obviously it's not stitched together, but you have the basics of your minimalist wallet. Again, we call this our Great Heron wallet. Now, I'm going to do a little sanding of the edges to make sure they're really nice and even before I punch my stitch line. I'm going to go with a size 240 grit sandpaper just to make sure that the edges are all evened up. Just going to go around the two sides. I'm not going to mess with the top. I've already done that, so I don't need to redo that. Let me get that corner a little bit better. All right, it's looking pretty good. So you can kind of see I've got my edges sanded to where they're pretty evened up. I'll do more refining work on that once it's finished. I'm going to grab my wing divider. And just to kind of measure some things out, if you want to, You can set it whatever degree you want, or whatever gauge you want to. I'm going to set mine at roughly 5 millimeters. And I'm going to start where this inner pocket is here. I'm not going to do up here just yet. I'll show you why I do that in just a minute. And I'm just going to create that stitch line I'm going to follow. I'm just going to go around the edge here. You can see I've created a stitch line that I will follow once I do my punching. It's really important to make sure your edges are even so that your line that you mark is easy to follow and it's got a consistent line to it. I'm going to bring over my punch pad that I'm going to use. And as I said before, I'm going to use these punches from Rocky Mountain Leather. These are 3.85 millimeter. I've got 2 of them. One's a 10 prong, I think it is, and one's a 2 prong. It might be 8 prongs, I should say. I'm going to start off with the 8. And what I do is I make sure there are 3 prongs above the outside pocket line. So there's going to be 3 punches I'm going to put into the main pocket here. So I'm going to start with the 4th prong right on the edge of the outside pocket. And I'm just going to follow my line that I made. You can easily turn it over and see that your prongs came through. I'm going to follow it all the way down. I'm going to switch over to the 2 prong as I go around the corner here. Now, like I said, mine are 3.85 millimeters. If you want to use 3.5, if you want to use 4, if you want to use a circle punch, it's up to you. Whatever look you're going after. I'm going to switch back to the 8 prong. Again, I'm just following the line I created. And as I was punching, you can see my little jar of needles came out of my toolbox there. Okay, so now we have that punched. All right, so you can kind of see we've got our stitch line going all the way down and around. It goes through both sides. And we're going to stitch that together. And I'm going to stitch this off screen simply because my pony, it's a little hard to put on the video here. And there are plenty of videos out there on how to do leather stitching. I'm going to take a few minutes to do that. I'm going to use a saddle stitch. And as I said before, I'm going to use this brown Vinimo thread. I'm just going to pull off an amount of thread that I know will be sufficient. Often, you know, the trick I learned when I was doing this early on is you want to have it at least 5 times the length of your stitch line. You can certainly follow that. That's probably a good gauge. But I'm going to pause the video here while I stitch this. Okay, folks, we are back. Thanks for continuing this journey with us. I've got my wallet stitched up. As you can see, I've got my lighter brown thread here. It just provides a little bit more of an accent to it. Got my finished thread off. I've kind of backtracked a few stitches, and both of them are on the back side. You can do it whatever pattern you want. I'm just going to trim those up, set my needles aside, and I'm going to just singe the edges here with, I'm just going to use a lighter here. Get those warmed up, press it down, and the wallet is now stitched up. Now I'm going to take care of the edges here. I'm going to bring our sandpaper over. And I'm going to start with a size or 800 grit. Just go back and forth. I'm not doing it too hard, not putting too much pressure. Check and see. And I will bring over my 3000 grit. Feels nice and smooth. I'm going to use my edge beveler here. Take off any of the harsh curl to the edge from the sanding process. As you can see, I'm not taking off much, just a little bit. Okay, we're going to bring over our tokenol again and do the same process we've done before. First, I'm going to use my burnishing stick. I'm not putting a lot of pressure, just allowing the heat and the friction, I should say the friction, to work the heat and bring those fibers together. You can already see we've got a better looking edge as compared to this one, which we haven't done yet. I'm going to turn it over and do this longer edge here. Again with the burnishing stick. Back and forth we go. Again, that's just one layer of the tokenol. I'm going to do it again. Turn it back to the bottom. This time I'm going to use my piece of canvas. If you don't have canvas, you could just do another round with your burnishing stick. Again, I'm not pushing hard. That clicking sound's a good sound. Means you're getting the burnish pretty well. There we go. Turn it on the long side. And I'll use my canvas again. Being careful not to push too hard. There we go. One last step we can do to finish it all off. So I'm going to grab my smooth face hammer or finishing hammer and just pound in the stitches and the edges. And there we have our finished Great Heron wallet. That's what we call it. You can call it whatever you'd like. Put a card here in the front. If you've got too much glue, you can use a bone folder to kind of spread that apart. Let's put a few here in the center. And we'll get some folded cash here. And you can tuck it into this pocket if you like to carry cash. If not, you got more cards. So there you go. That is our Great Heron wallet. Eventually, once the wallet breaks in, it usually holds between 7 and 8 cards and some folded cash. There you go. I appreciate you joining us for this journey. You can always find us at nightheronleather.com. Appreciate you watching the video. If you like it, hit the like button, and we will see you guys next time.